Have you recently found yourself job hunting in a market that feels tougher than ever? You're not alone. Many laid-off Americans are facing the same frustrating reality, and it's time to talk about what's really going on. The current job market is a challenging place for anyone looking for a new opportunity, and for those who've been laid off, it can feel like the odds are stacked against them. From seemingly endless cycles of rejection to the emotional toll of job loss, it's a daunting landscape. But what does this reality look like on the ground? How are laid-off Americans coping, and what strategies are they using to get back on their feet? The economic conditions of the past few years have led to a significant shift in the job market, with millions of Americans finding themselves out of work. According to recent statistics, the unemployment rate remains stagnant, and the number of long-term unemployed individuals continues to rise. With the rise of automation and artificial intelligence, many industries are experiencing significant changes, leaving workers unsure of how to adapt and find new career paths. Many are finding that their skills are no longer in demand or that their experience isn't translating to the modern job market. This skills gap is leaving individuals feeling lost and uncertain about their future. We're not just talking about a nebulous group of people, we're talking about your friends, your family members, your neighbors. People who had a job one day and were suddenly left without one the next. So, what happens when the rug gets pulled out from under you, and you're left to navigate this harsh job market reality? The picture isn't always bleak, though. There are stories of resilience, of determination, and of people finding creative ways to overcome the obstacles in their path. And that's what we want to explore today, the highs and lows of job hunting in this tough market, and what we can learn from those who are fighting to get back on their feet. When you first lose your job, it's natural to feel overwhelmed. You might go into panic mode, applying to every job opening you can find, or you might take a step back, trying to regroup and figure out your next move. Either way, it's a difficult and emotional time. Some people might reach out to their networks, trying to find job leads or advice from friends and family. Others might turn to online resources, like job search platforms or career coaches. For many, the initial reaction is to try and find a job that's similar to the one they lost. They might feel like they need to prove to themselves that they can still do the same kind of work, or that they're still valuable in their field. But others might see this as an opportunity to pivot, to try something new and explore different career paths. As people start to navigate this challenging job market, they often find themselves trying new strategies and approaches. Some might decide to freelance or take on part-time work to make ends meet while they keep looking for a full-time job. Others might invest in courses or training programs to upgrade their skills and make themselves more competitive. Ashley, for example, was laid off from her job as a marketing manager last year. At first, she felt like she was in free fall, applying to dozens of jobs without getting any callbacks. But then she started thinking outside the box. She began offering her services as a freelance marketer, and slowly started to build up a client base. It wasn't easy, but it gave her a sense of control and purpose during a really tough time. Rachel, on the other hand, had always dreamed of starting her own business. When she was laid off from her job as an accountant, she saw it as the push she needed to take the leap. It's been a struggle, but she's now running her own successful consulting firm, and she's never been happier. James had a similar experience. After being laid off from his job as a software engineer, he decided to take a break and focus on his own projects. He started building his own apps, and eventually landed a job at a startup that aligns perfectly with his passions. These are just a few examples of people who are making progress in their job search. They're not giving up, and they're not letting the difficulties of this job market hold them back. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. There are still setbacks and challenges along the way. For many people, the biggest hurdle is the emotional toll of job loss. It can feel like a personal failure, or a loss of identity. You might start to doubt your abilities, or wonder if you're just not good enough. It's a tough place to be, and it can be hard to see a way out. There are also practical challenges to contend with. You might not have the right skills for the jobs that are available, or you might be facing discrimination or bias in the hiring process. Whatever the reason, it's tough to stay motivated when you're facing rejection after rejection. We've spoken to many individuals who have been laid off and are struggling to find new employment opportunities. Let's hear some of their stories and experiences. Sam was laid off from his job of 10 years without any warning. It was a shock to him and his family, and it's been a real struggle to find something new. Thomas has been applying to jobs for months, but he hasn't even gotten an interview. It's discouraging and makes him feel like he is not good enough. Joe been unemployed for over a year, and it's taken a huge toll on his mental health. He feels like he has lost his purpose and don't know who he is anymore. Cynthia tried to adapt to the changing job market by taking courses and getting certified in new skills, but it doesn't seem to be making a difference. Joan has been on so many interviews, but they always seem to find someone more qualified or experienced. It's frustrating because she feels like she gets so close, but she just can't catch a break. Matt had to relocate to a new city to find work, which has been a huge adjustment for him and his family. It's not something he thought he would ever have to do. Then, a few months after starting the new job, the company laid off over 100 employees, including Matt. Not only is Matt laid off again, but now in a new city. It feels like that move was a major waste of money, time, effort, and emotionally draining. Iris has been dealing with imposter syndrome, feeling like she is not good enough or qualified enough for the jobs she is applying for. Ivan had to take a significant pay cut just to get back into the workforce, which has been a huge financial burden on his family and his self-esteem. Steve is over 55, been feeling like he is too old to be starting over, that he's being passed over due to his age. Although illegal, he has seen job posts that strongly suggest a preference for young workers. Lisa has been struggling to find a job that aligns with her values and passions. She doesn't want to just take any job, she wants to make a difference. She's been dealing with the pressure from her family and friends to just find a job, any job, but she knows that would make her miserable, dreading each morning. Max has been trying to stay positive and focus on the things he can control, but it's hard when you're faced with rejection and disappointment every day. But despite the setbacks and challenges, many of these individuals are persevering and adapting to the new job market. Despite these challenges, there are people who are making progress. They're finding ways to overcome the obstacles and to keep moving forward. They're not giving up, and they're not letting the difficulties of this job market hold them back. One of the most intense moments in this journey is often the first interview after being laid off. It's a chance to prove to yourself that you still have what it takes, and to show potential employers that you're a strong candidate. But it can also be a nerve-wracking experience, especially if you're not used to interviewing. For Ashley, her first interview was a turning point. She had been applying to jobs for over 10 months, but she hadn't gotten any callbacks. She was starting to doubt her abilities, and wonder if she was ever going to find a new job. But then she landed an interview at a marketing firm, and everything changed. She walked out of that interview feeling confident and capable, and she knew that she was going to be okay. Rachel had a similar experience. She had been pitching her consulting services to potential clients for months, but she hadn't landed any new business. She was starting to feel discouraged, and wonder if she had made a mistake by leaving her old job. But then she got a call from a startup that was interested in her services, and everything changed. She nailed the pitch, and landed a big contract. James had a different kind of breakthrough moment. He had been working on his own projects for months, but he wasn't sure if they were good enough. He was starting to doubt his abilities, and wonder if he was just deluding himself. But then he got an email from a startup that was interested in one of his apps, and everything changed. They wanted to discuss a potential acquisition, and it was a game changer. These are just a few examples of the intense moments that people face in this journey. They're not always easy to get through, but they can be transformative. They can make all the difference between giving up and pushing forward. If you're feeling stuck, here are some practical tips and steps to consider. Take a moment to breathe. It's okay to pause, reflect, and regroup. This is not the end of your story. It's just a challenging chapter. Leverage your network. Reach out to friends, former colleagues, or mentors. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to help. Invest in yourself. Whether it's taking a course, learning a new skill, or simply updating your resume, every step you take is progress. Be open to new opportunities. Sometimes, the next step isn't what you expected. Embrace the possibility of change. But despite the setbacks and challenges, many of these individuals are persevering and adapting to the new job market. One individual I spoke to was able to land an interview with a top company in their industry after months of rejections. Another was able to find a job that aligns with their values and passions, after taking a course to gain new skills. And another was able to overcome their imposter syndrome and land a senior position at a prestigious company. These breakthroughs are a testament to the resilience and adaptability of these individuals. The experiences shared are a reminder that finding a new job in today's market is not easy, but it's not impossible. It takes grit, determination, and a willingness to adapt and learn new skills. So, what happened to Ashley, Rachel, and James in the end? Did they find new jobs, or start their own businesses? The outcome is different for each of them, but they all share one thing in common: they refused to give up. They kept pushing forward, even when the journey got tough. Ashley eventually landed a job at a marketing firm, and she's never been happier. Rachel's consulting business is thriving, and she's never looked back. James sold his app to the startup, and he's now running his own successful company. These stories are a testament to the resilience and determination of laid-off Americans. They're not just statistics or news headlines, they're real people who are fighting to get back on their feet. And their journeys can teach us a lot about what it takes to succeed in this tough job market. If you've recently lost your job, or you're struggling to find a new one, know that you're not alone. There are people out there who understand what you're going through, and who are also fighting to get back on their feet. Take a page from their book, and never give up. Keep pushing forward, even when the journey gets tough. As we reflect on the experiences shared, it's clear that finding a new job is not just about getting back to work, it's about finding a sense of purpose and identity. It's about being resilient and adaptable in the face of uncertainty and change. If you're currently job hunting, I want to encourage you to share your own story in the comments below. Subscribe for more content on job searching strategies and tips, and don't forget to check out our related videos on overcoming common job search obstacles. And if you have a story to share about your own experience with job loss, we'd love to hear it. Please leave a comment below, and let's continue the conversation. If you want to learn more about navigating job loss, check out our other video on the subject. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.